Hello friends, I am Arpit and I am here with today's analysis. Today is 2nd of September and we're going to deal with two very important topics which are in news. First is the Colombo Security Conclave. This organization comprising India, Sri Lanka, Maldives and Mauritius as permanent members and Bangladesh and Seychelles as observer members have signed a memorandum of understanding to establish their secretariat. This organization was established in 2011 with the core objective of providing maritime safety and security, humanitarian assistance and disaster relief, and events such like. This organization basically aims to strengthen overall security of the Indian Ocean region, with India being the dominant player in this grouping. Next is the China-Philippines dispute in the Sabina Shoal. Sabina Shoal is part of Spratly Islands, and Spratly Islands lies in the Nine Dash Line region, which is in South China Sea, the disputed region which has disturbed the entire region as well as the world. Now, the constant conflict going on between Southeast Asian countries and China with respect to jurisdiction over certain islands has, created a problem over there. With respect to Sabina Shoal, it is simple that Philippines was blaming China that Chinese activities have led to coral bleaching and the ecological decay of this particular shoal and the Spratly Islands, whereas Chinese people are saying that it is the Philippines activities which are doing that. Now, this geopolitical war has gone towards an environmental war between both these countries. So let's see how things will unfold from now on. Now, the first topic, that is Colombo Security Conclave. Security of the high seas, security of, I would say, the oceans is very much important because, you know, the trade is passing through the oceans. And, if I talk about international trade, around 90% of international trade all across the world passes through the oceans. One, it is the cheapest mode of transport. Second, it is basically feasible to get connected to distant continents which are not connected by land. That is the only way. Air is another way to get connected, but yes, that is quite expensive. So securing the sea lines of communication is one of the topmost priorities of many countries. China, if it is doing activities in the South China Sea, it wants to secure its shipping lines. USA has presence on more than 800 ports all across the world. Even India is trying hard to increase its influence in the Indian Ocean region at least. We have launched such certain policies like security and growth for all in the region, that is Sagar. We have, come into such kind of multilateral groupings which aim at strengthening the maritime security of the Indian Ocean region, like Colombo Security Conclave. Now, why was this in news? This was in news because, there was a meeting between the national security advisors of the four permanent members of Colombo Security Conclave. These four permanent members of security in Colombo Security Conclave are Sri Lanka, India, Maldives, plus Mauritius. They have decided or they have signed an MOU to establish their secretariat, means headquarters. This was signed in Colombo, Sri Lanka. So most probably it is going to be Colombo. So on August 30, 2024, India, Sri Lanka, Maldives and Mauritius signed a charter and memorandum of understanding to establish the Colombo Security Conclave Secretariat. Establishing a secretariat means the importance of this organization is increasing. The weightage is increasing, the workload is increasing in this organization, which is something which is significant from India's perspective. The milestone in regional security collaboration shows the commitment of these nations to enhancing cooperation on various security issues. Actually, these nations, Sri Lanka, Maldives, and Mauritius, they also are looking to secure their maritime trade. They might seem small countries, but they are of immense significance to India. The signing ceremony, hosted in Colombo by the government of Sri Lanka, was attended by key national security representatives from each participating country. Basically, the agreement was signed by the national security advisors, but yes, other security representatives were also present over there in the event. Host, Government of Sri Lanka, which organized the event in Colombo. Significance, establishment of CSC Secretariat marks a significant step in formalizing and enhancing regional security collaboration. So it is like this. Now, just a brief about this particular grouping, Colombo Security Conclave, if I talk about it. So regional security grouping, it is formed in 2011 as a trilateral Indian Ocean Maritime Security Grouping of India, Sri Lanka and the Maldives. It was in the fifth meeting Mauritius joined. So Mauritius was or is not a founding member of this Colombo Security Conclave. So, members India, Sri Lanka, Maldives, Mauritius, and observers are Bangladesh and Seychelles. They are also invited to the meetings, but they are not full-time members, they are observer groups. What is Colombo Security Conclave? Formed in 2011, as I told you, as a trilateral maritime security initiative among India, Sri Lanka, and Maldives. Expansion, Mauritius joined as a fourth member during the fifth meeting of National Security Advisors. Bangladesh and Seychelles have attended as observers and are invited to join the CSCs. So it is left to them if they want to become the full-time members, they can become the full-time members as well. Goal, it aims to enhance regional security by focusing on 5 pillars of cooperation. What are these 5 pillars of cooperation? We will see a bit. This collaborative framework is designed to address shared security concerns and promote stronger ties among member nations. This is generic. Now, these are the 5 pillars on which the cooperation happens, and these are also the core objectives of this grouping. So, see, when we are talking about security, the security will not only limit itself to security from the threats. It will also enhance its scope and security of the people from disasters can be understood in this way. That is also counted as a pillar. Security from transnational organized crimes, that is also counted as a pillar. Security from terrorism and all, obviously that is counted as a pillar. And maritime threats and all, like maritime piracy and all happens a lot, that is also counted as a pillar. So there are broad objectives. Security has to be considered as a very broad concept to understand these objectives. This is what I mean to say. First core objective or the first pillar is maritime safety and security. So as the name suggests, Colombo Security Conclave, and these 4 Indian Ocean nations are part of it. So maritime safety is a quite natural pillar to be there, and that is why it is located at the first position, ensuring safe and secure maritime navigation and cooperation among the member states. Next, countering terrorism and radicalization. Obviously, when we are talking about security, we will talk about terrorism and radicalization. Addressing terrorism and extremist activities through joint strategies and intelligence sharing. Then combating trafficking, human trafficking, drug trafficking, transnational organized crime. So organized crimes, like these are financial in nature, and these are committed by a group of people which are organized in a proper organization like structure. Like this might be the hierarchy, like this. Now this person committing a crime in country X receiving orders from a person sitting in country Y. That makes it transnational organized crime. So, and this region is known for transnational organized crime. There are groupings like Dawood Ibrahim's D Company and all, which are too much active in indulging in these kind of activities. So that is also considered as one of the topics over here, or one of the pillars. Cyber security and protection of critical infrastructure and technology. As I said, that the scope of security has been increasing with time. So cyber security is definitely one of those increased scopes of security, which is also undertaken over here. This is also a core objective. Then humanitarian assistance and disaster relief, coordinating responses to natural disasters and humanitarian crisis, because this region is also prone to natural disasters like cyclones, or tsunamis also have impacted in the past. And with the advent of climate change or global warming, these kind of disasters, number of these kind of disasters and the intensity of these kind of disasters can increase. So we need to have a proper coordinating mechanism on that. And Colombo Security Conclave aims to establish that as well. Significance of this grouping. First, India's strategic outreach will increase, and this is what we want. We want our influence to be, there on the Indian Ocean region. The CSC represent India's strategic outreach to enhance regional cooperation and address security issues. Second is countering China's influence. That is also very much important for countries like India, because India and China are having kind of a zero-sum game in this region. If China's influence increases, India's decreases. If India's influence increases, China's decreases. China not being part of this grouping, neither an observer member, is an opportunity for India to increase its influence over these countries and over the Indian Ocean region as well. So that is the second significance of this particular grouping. Maritime security prioritization. India's extensive coastline and strategic maritime choke points make maritime security a top priority for India. India's lot of energy imports come from the Western SLOCs, sea lines of communication, and all these countries are important in India's security, or India's, I would say, energy trade. Why? Because they will, or they can help India's strategic outreach to be increased in the Indian Ocean region, so that it can secure its sea lines of communications and their sea lines of communication as well. Alignment with Sagar vision. Sagar, security and growth for all in the region. Which region? It is Indian Ocean region. So it complements India's Sagar, security and growth for all in the region vision, which seeks to enhance security and promote growth in the Indian Ocean region. The CSC also aligns with India's strategic interests as a member of Quad grouping. Now, emerging sub-regionalism. Formation of CSC reflects the development of sub-regionalism in the Indian Ocean, where countries with shared security concerns come together on a common platform. And organizations like these can also help in pacifying the disputes or the bilateral disputes like India Maldives. But if we collaborate over here and in presence of other countries, these kind of disputes kind to be subdued as well. Associated challenges. Despite alignment of strategic interest among CSC member countries, challenges remain. Similar to SARC, which struggle to fulfill its objectives due to internal and external pressures, CSC may face difficulties in achieving its goal if not supported by strong institutional frameworks and collective commitment. There can be increased interference from countries like China and increased influence on Maldives and Sri Lanka by China can make this particular grouping futile, not being able to achieve its objectives. But having a proper institutional mechanism, probably that is why the secretariat is also getting formed now. Things will be more formal. Things will be more, I would say, serious over here in this particular grouping. We can understand it in this way. So that is basically the significance. So conclusion is basically it aims at strengthening overall security, whether it is the security from terrorism, transnational organized crimes, cyber crimes, or for that matter, disasters. These are the core objectives of, I would say, this organization, or five pillars of coordination between the member countries. This is also significant in increasing India's influence in the Indian Ocean region, which is very much important. After all, the ocean is named after us. It is also important in, I would say, pacifying the bilateral issues between the member countries. The need was to make it more formalized in the form of a secretariat that is getting more formalized and more focused upon, and countries should be more serious about the resolutions and all being adopted over here. We should avoid interference from the non-members over here. That is one of the key challenges which we will need to look into. Next is the China-Philippines dispute over the Sabina Shoal. Now on 23rd of August, we covered about the South China Sea dispute, in which we talked about this 9-dash line, and China claims this 9-dash line. Whereas countries like Philippines and all, they say that their exclusive economic zone also is there, which China is not allowing them to have because of this 9-dash line. And in this dispute, there are islands like Spartley's Islands or Paracel Islands, which we discussed that day. Now, the fresh dispute is on the Sabina Shoal, which is part of this Spartley Island. Shoal is basically kind of an artificial island, you can say, which has been created on a seamount. A seamount is a submerged mountain, and on top of that, sedimentation or corals, they get deposit, and then they come out of the sea surface and appear to be as islands to us. That is a shoal. Now China, because of its, I would say, capacities of doing land reclamation, it has that technology of land reclamation. It is creating artificial islands. It is pumping the sand nearby those mountains or those sea mounts on them, and creating these artificial islands so that they appear. Now the issue is that on the Sabina Shoal, Philippines is claiming that Chinese have done a lot of economic activities which has destroyed the corals over there and the ecology of that shoal, whereas on the other hand China is saying that Philippines has done that. So this kind of blame game is going on over there. So let us understand this. On Friday, China released its first survey report on Sabina Shoal in the South China Sea. It rejected the Philippines' claim of damage to the reef. Philippines claimed that Chinese damaged the reef. The report, conducted by China's Ministry of Natural Resources from May to July. Now, it states that there is no scientific evidence to support the Philippines' accusations. Obviously, when Chinese ministry is doing it, so why will it declare कि भाई we have done that? And especially when it comes to uh, a question with respect to another country, and especially if it comes to the South China Sea, which is very much strategically important for China. Now, the key findings of the report. Survey results of this report showed that the coral reef at Sabina Shoal is in good condition for growth. China denied the Philippines' claims that Chinese activities at Xianbin Reef, that is Sabina Shoal, caused significant coral damage. So, Chinese have their own name, nomenclature, and there is this standard nomenclature as well, and we are adhering to the standard one. The report said there is no scientific or factual basis for Philippines' claims that China's activities have caused coral bleaching and death in the region. Accusations and counterclaims. The Philippine Coast Guard has accused China of building an artificial island at Sabina Shoal. In response, China claimed that the presence of Philippines warship has harmed the coral reef. So China is saying that, Philippines has done that. So, there's a popular saying in Hindi that ulta chor kotwal ko date. So that kind of thing is happening over there. The accusation was on China, and now China is accusing Philippines. The report also mentioned that the damage was caused by a Philippine Coast Guard ship's illegal stay at the shoal. So they are playing this blame game on the Sabina Shoal. That is what we need to understand. But yes, most importantly, we need to understand about this Sabina Shoal, about its geographical location and its significance. Sabina Shoal is an oceanic coral atoll developed on a seamount. So it is like this. This is the ocean surface. Okay. Now this is a seamount, submerged mountain in the oceans. They are there. And then on these submerged mountains, if there is sand and all which is deposited or corals which are there, now due to this deposition, this kind of emergence happens. And while looking at it, we will feel that it is an island. This island which is developed, or I would say formed on a seamount, is called as a shoal. This is a shoal. It extends about 23 kilometers on its northwest southeast axis and comprising two main parts connected by a narrow section. The western part is larger, measuring 13 kilometers by 6 kilometers, against the eastern part, which is measuring 10 kilometers by 3 kilometers. Both parts feature a central lagoon surrounded by a coral ring made of discontinuous shallow sections. So, this is the geography of that region. What is a seamount? वैसे तो I've explained what is a seamount. It is an underwater mountain formed through volcanic activity, because this, I would say, divergent zones, submergent zones are there which create mountains. So that is, there in the, I would say, under the sea. You have studied it in geography as well. Seamounts are hotspots for marine life and can be active, extinct, or dormant volcanoes. They form near mid-ocean ridges where tectonic plates move apart, following the molten rock to rise to the seafloor. So the divergent zones, plate tectonics or plate movements are happening. the grounds are or the plates are diverging, and from inside comes out the lava. That lava forms those mountains after getting solidified. Some seamounts are found near intraplate hotspots or oceanic land chains with volcanic and seismic activity as well. Now, the recent incident near Sabina Shoal on Sunday, tensions escalated when the Philippines South China Sea Task Force reported that Chinese vessels had rammed and used water cannons against Philippine Bureau of Fisheries. This was discussed by us as well. Now, the ship was reportedly transporting food, fuel, and medical supplies for Filipino fishermen. Geopolitical background: Sabina Shoal, also known as Xianbin Reef, is situated in the eastern part of Spratly Islands in the South China Sea. It lies approximately 75 nautical miles from the Philippines province of Palawan and considered part of Philippines 200 nautical mile exclusive economic zone. Obviously, it is 75 nautical miles and the exclusive economic zone is of 200 nautical miles. So, it is lying within Philippines under the 1982 United Nations Convention on Law of the Sea. China, however, claims sovereignty over the shoal and much of the South China Sea, maintaining the continuous presence over there. And this presence of China or this claim of China on most of the South China Sea is due to that geographer which gave this concept of nine dash line in the 1940s and said that this entire region was of China. So China, keeps on doing that. The shoal is located about 630 nautical miles from China, and see, it is 75 nautical miles from Philippines, but still China claims on this particular shoal over there. Now coming on to the MCQs. Which of the countries are permanent members of Colombo Security Conclave? It is pretty simple. Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Seychelles, Maldives. You have to answer the correct one. Find the correct combination. Second question, consider the following statements and mark the correct one. Colombo Security Conclave was formed in 2011. Colombo Security Conclave aims at providing humanitarian assistance and disaster relief. Only one, only two, both one and two, neither one nor two. Third question, which of these shoals lie in the 9 dash line? Scarborough Shoal, Sabina Shoal, Second Thomas Shoal. If you are, aware enough, if you are observant enough, in this video only, you will be able to answer this question. I have purposely not discussed this, but yes, it was there in this video as well. Sabina Shoal is part of which island? Spratly, Paracel, Coco, or none of the above? So these were the four questions of today. Now the MCQs of Saturday, the answers to that we will be discussing. In which year was the PM Mudra Yojana launched? This was 2015. As simple as that it is. And the Modi government came and it launched this PM Mudra Yojana, which aimed at providing, I would say, loans to the entrepreneurs for doing entrepreneurship or for doing businesses. Consider the following statements and mark the correct one. PM Mudra Yojana aims at enhancing the financial inclusion in the country. Yes, because financial inclusion has four pillars, or I would say four financial services should be provided to the maximum people. One is banking, second is credit, it is providing credit. Third is pension, fourth is, I would say, insurance. So definitely it is enhancing financial inclusion. PM Mudra Yojana is suffering from NPAs. Currently, yes, the NPAs are down, but yes, there are NPAs. Around 2.1% of the loans disbursed in the PM Mudra Yojana is under NPAs. The middle category, that is Kishore, has the maximum NPAs. Then the Shishu, the smallest category, has the NPAs. So both 1 and 2 are going to be the correct answers for this question. Third, fill in the blanks with the most appropriate option with respect to financial inclusion. So that day I told you banking the unbanked, funding the unfunded, and securing the unsecured is the mantra which is followed by Government of India for financial inclusion. Employing the unemployed? No. Skilling the unskilled? No. Educating the uneducated? No. It is none of the above because it is securing the unsecured. Securing means social security, and pension and insurance are components of social security. Next question. National Sports Day is celebrated on the birth anniversary of which famous sports personality? That was Dhyan Chand. That was quite evident. We had the photo of Dhyan Chand also over there. So that was 29th of August, the National Sports Day, on the birth anniversary of Major Dhyan Chand. So this is going to be the correct answer for this. So with this, we come to an end of today's session. I will be seeing you tomorrow now with more such informative news pieces. Till then, you guys very well know what to do. Keep studying, keep reading, keep writing. Most importantly, keep revising. The time is passing by. We have entered September, and those who are attempting next year, you should be doing answer writing practice right now, and at least up till December, so that you develop that answer writing skill, the basic elements of answer writing skill. And I would suggest that don't leave answer writing after that till March. Although reduce the intensity, but yes, keep doing that. And cover your optional subjects till then, till December, and practice some essays also by then, so that you get yourself completely prepared when you are appearing for the prelims. From January onwards, you can start focusing on prelims. You can intensify your focus on prelims from March. That is what you can keep as a strategy. So that is it from my end. Namaste. Jai Hind.